right, that's enough of that, folks. Welcome to this edition of V Radio. I literally just got the idea for this stream like 10 minutes ago. So I put together a bunch of them. Basically, what the format is going to be is you guys can vote in polls that I will put up after every one of these parody videos I play for you. And we can decide if a parody has now just simply become reality, or has gotten very close to reality, or nope, is still just a parody. So this will be an interactive show. And thank you for the super chat, Stevie Marley, Strategic Crew in the house. Good stuff, good stuff. And for those of you who've only been listening to V Radio, if you have not checked out the Strategic Eye show, you absolutely should. You can also listen to some of my streams with him to get like a exposure to his content. So tonight's going to be a little bit more lackadaisical, a little more fun, and we're going to do that. So anyway, now we will go through my carefully selected group of parodies to determine which is real and which is not. So in any case, thanks for joining me, you guys. I see 7-Eleven is an inside job in the house. Casual goats as opposed to not so casual goats is in the house. We got Sawcon. What's going on, Sawcon? Lucifer the Doberman, as always. Grounds. Midwest Mystic. Hi there. I don't know if I've ever seen you before, so welcome to the show. So, anyway. All right, folks. I'm going to pull up the first one. 1 second. Anyway, sorry about that. I had to answer a question from my son. So, let's begin. All right, I'm going to come up here, share my screen with the first parody of the evening. Let's see, we'll go with... No, not that one. Not that one. All right, so this one's pretty good. So I don't know if you guys remember the Onion News Network. So like for some of these, like I had to like kind of pull from older videos, because the idea is like when you watch an old parody and then suddenly, it's like, wow, they kind of predicted the future. So that's kind of the plan here. So everybody pay attention, because you're going to be asked to vote. So I guess this one does a good job of predicting the TikTok generation. When was this made? Man, 2012. All right, let's give it a listen.
Last month, the Taggart family of Cedar Mill, Oregon, set off a firestorm of controversy after petitioning the state for the right to end the life of their 13-year-old brain-dead daughter. Jean Ann Wharton takes us beyond the facts.
Caitlin Taggart was a beautiful, lively girl who loved laughing and playing outside, but all that changed at the age of 12. Caitlin slipped into a persistent vegetative state, confining her almost entirely to her bed and Facebook.
She doesn't even have basic motor functions anymore. We literally have to drag her to the car to drive her to school in the morning.
She's totally unresponsive when we talk to her. Her eyes just roll back in her head.
Caitlin, honey, it's your dad.
With no hope that their daughter would ever recover, the Taggarts decided to seek legal permission to end Caitlin's life.
It is the most difficult decision we've ever had to make, but we just keep reminding ourselves that the real Caitlin is already gone. That's just her body texting.
But the Taggarts soon found themselves at the center of a heated controversy as euthanasia opposition groups mobilized to stop them. These protesters say the groans and exasperated sighs Caitlin sometimes makes prove there is hope for recovery. But the Taggarts' physician, Dr. Kevin DeBacker, disagrees.
The sounds and movements that Caitlin makes are caused by random synapses firing in what's left of her brain tissue as a response to atmospheric changes, like it being cold in a restaurant or her mother bursting into a room, even though there is a little thing called privacy.
Dr. DeBacker believes euthanasia is a humane way to end Caitlin's suffering.
We give her one painless injection, and that's it. Her eyes may flutter a bit, or she may murmur, "Are you for real killing me right now?" But then her struggle will finally be over.
Back at the Taggart home, the family is already preparing for life without Caitlin.
It's hard, but we know we're making the right decision. Her organs can help other children. We can give her eyes to someone who would actually use them to read a book.
I have crayons. And I don't even...
What would you tell other parents?
I want parents out there to go home tonight and hug their kids and be thankful they don't have such a piss-poor attitude.
For Beyond the Facts, I'm Jean Ann Wharton.
Oh, man.
3 days ago, Caitlin's life was legally ended. Caitlin, by the way, was the first Oregon resident to undergo the procedure since 2009, when a dentist had his receptionist euthanized after she was unable to perform any function other than eating all the candy in the waiting room.
All right, folks. So I'm now putting it to a poll. Is this now like is this still a parody, or is it now reality, or is it really close but still a parody? If you haven't voted, get your votes in now. Let's see, does it show how many? We have 6 votes so far out of 15 live viewers. So get your votes in and let's see. So far, people are saying this is reality. 62%, 8 votes in. Oh, 18 viewers. So now we need 10 more votes, folks. Was that a parody? Is that parody now reality? Really close, but still a parody, or still just a parody? Sharing the link. Oh, okay, that was cool. Yeah, you got here late. That's what you get for being late. Yeah, of course, now all the viewers are going to show up, so I may have to close this poll a little early just because a lot of you guys haven't seen it yet. But all right, so with 11 votes in, the poll is over. We have determined that this is now no longer a parody, but a reflection of reality. Sad but true. All right. Moving on. So for those of you who are just getting here, what we're doing today is I'm playing parody videos, most of which are kind of old, to determine if the parody is no longer a parody and if it's gotten too close to reality. And at the end of every video, I'll be asking you guys to vote on whether or not you think a parody is still just a parody, or if it's now kind of reflective of reality, or if it's really close, but it's still a parody. So moving on to the next video, because Saucon's like, let's go. That's right. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever been exposed to the Onion News Network, but we used to troll people with it because they did a pretty darn good job of making some of these videos look pretty similar. But they're not all going to be onions. So here's another really good one. This one's by Neil Kolothacatar. And this one's called Modern Education. So again, remember, as you're watching this with me, near the end, I'm going to put up the poll. You're going to have to vote on whether or not you think this is still a parody.
Welcome. Ignore that. It will end. Now, our first question, 1 plus Yes.
2.
Incorrect. Yes.
Multiculturalism.
Well done, Simon. Next question. What is 3 times 3? Yes?
9.
Wrong. Yes, Penelope.
Gender equality.
Very good, Penelope.
Is this a joke?
Do you think gender equality is a joke?
No, but isn't this a maths class?
Don't be so racist.
I just asked a question.
We don't ask questions. Questions are offensive.
Yeah.
Now, students, I trust you've all completed your research assignments. And remember, the person with the highest mark will be flying to New York to present their paper at the World Mathematics Summit. Well done, Penelope. 6 out of 10. You too, Simon. 6 out of 10.
Hey, be careful. You've been staring at her for 10 seconds.
What?
It's a form of harassment to stare at a woman for more than 15 seconds straight. And when I use the term straight, I don't mean to offend any persons of a non-traditional sexual preference. And when I use the term non-traditional, I don't mean to offend any persons who oppose historically normalized...
Okay, I get it.
Unfortunately, Sunshine, your research assignment is only worth a 1 out of 10.
I've used Fourier transform and mathematical methods in electronics to analyze the electrodiagrams of at-risk patients and calculate their risk of experiencing a heart attack. I mean, it's a new method, but it could potentially save thousands of lives.
7.
You barely even read it.
You used red pen.
What?
Red is considered offensive in many religions.
Why would you belittle everything down to a singular color? Well, humanity is a rainbow of beauty and spirituality.
Yeah. Okay, fine. 7 out of 10, but that still means I get to go to the summit, right?
The marking process isn't over yet. Now, because we live in a society based on equality, the total amount of marks are to be divided equally among our students.
You've got to be kidding me.
Well done, students. We're all equal. We're all average.
Yay! But then who gets to go to the summit?
Oh, we haven't added our privilege points yet. Don't you know anything?
That is correct. Now, Penelope, you are female, so that's +1 privilege point. However, you are white, so that's -1.
I'm also bisexual.
+1. That leaves you with a total score of 6 out of 10. Simon, unfortunately, you're straight, white, and male.
And cisgender.
Yes, so that's -4 privilege points, which leaves you with a total score of 1.
It's only fair.
Now you're male, and I don't like you. So that's -2 privilege points, but you are brown and sexually ambiguous. So that's +2. That leaves you with a total score of 5.
Wait, why am I sexually ambiguous?
And finally, Sunshine.
I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm Asian, I'm overweight, I'm lower class, I'm unintelligent, unattractive, I've got hairs on my nipples, and I also got body odor, and I can't really run properly or tie my shoelaces by myself. I once watched a pigeon die.
Wonderful, Sunshine. That's 13 privilege points. That leaves you with a total score of 18 out of 10. Well done, Sunshine. You're going to New York.
Hooray, Sunshine!
We knew you could do it!
Let me see this. They've just written equality and drawn love hearts on a piece of paper.
He expressed himself, and it's beautiful.
He didn't even spell equality correctly.
We don't discriminate.
This has nothing to do with mathematics.
You think you're so great with your maths and your science and your facts? What about feelings, huh?
Yeah. Feelings are more important than facts.
Yeah!
This is wrong. You're all crazy.
Stop violating me with your different opinions.
I have the right to speak my mind.
No, we have the right not to be offended.
And that's more important. And if you don't stop verbally assaulting us, we will be forced to attack you in self-defense.
Can't do that.
Actually, we have every right to do so.
And it's illegal for you to fight back.
Yeah!
This is insane.
Prepare to die a noble social justice warrior. Death!
Welcome. Ignore that. It will end.
All right, folks, that was Modern Education by Neil Kadathar. And that one was made, so this is the other thing that's always relevant. That was back in 2015. So again, it's like, it's always crazy how much these things can be predictive. The poll is now active, folks. So you decide, is this now reality? Close, but still parody? I mean, obviously they're not sticking people in boxes, but although they'd like to, I guess you could look at that almost metaphorically. They're trying to put you in a box, censor you or whatever. But, or is it still definitely just a parody? So the polls are open. Everybody place your votes. Democracy in action. Okay, poll has 16 out of 23 people have voted. So far, now reality is pulling way ahead. So 18 out of 24 voters. Come on, folks. Place your votes. Oh, the race is getting a little closer. A little closer. The poor horse abused by Seng says, I was thinking locking the problematic person in a box was unrealistic, but when I thought about it, it's reality. Yeah, some of that is like they'd like to. They just don't yet. Hopefully never. 19 votes. We still got 24 people watching. If you just showed up, obviously I don't expect you to vote on this particular video, but I'm going to close the poll here shortly. Can we get 20 votes? Oh, okay, I think we're done. All right, so poll is now finished. Final results. Now reality is 58%. Close but not quite is 32%. And still just a parody is 11%. All right. So yeah, you guys are asking, that was Modern Education, made back in 2015. I'm actually gonna have a couple of his videos on here. So, moving on. All right. So now moving on to the next video. For those of you guys, again, who are just joining us, what we're doing here is we're voting in a poll at the end of after a funny parody video to see if you guys still think this is still a parody. Moving on to the next one. I actually used this one a while ago for a separate reason, so some of you may have already seen this one, but I definitely liked it, and to me it was sadly a little too close to home, but there's a reason why. All right. So pay attention. Tell me if you still think this is parody or this might actually happen.
Since this is your first therapy session, Lois, why don't we start with you telling me a little bit about what brought you here?
For the past few months, I've been feeling really depressed. I've been sad before, but this is different. I just feel really alone, and I don't have anyone to talk to.
But you're white.
What does that have to do with it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were gay.
I'm not.
But you identify as a different gender.
No.
So you're a straight white cis male who feels alone.
Yeah.
How could you ever feel alone or unhappy?
I'm That's what I'm here to talk about.
Do you realize the kinds of problems people who aren't straight white cis males have?
No, I don't.
Of course you don't.
Is this how this works? Or can I just start talking about why I'm sad?
I guess.
I've been feeling deep grief ever since my father died.
Okay.
I always felt distant from him ever since I was a child, and I never got a chance to tell him how I really felt.
You know that 23% of children are raised in a household with just a single mother.
No, I didn't know that. Does that relate to my situation somehow? Like, even though I'm an adult, I've become the child of a single mother? Is it like Freudian or something?
No. I'm just pointing out that at least 23% of children have it worse than you.
Oh, okay. But I still miss my dad.
So you're saying that fathers are more capable than mothers?
No, not at all. I love my mother, and she's actually having a harder time dealing with the death of my father. They were married for 50 years.
That's sexist.
What?
The institution of marriage is sexist and abusive.
My father was a kind man. He loved my mother.
According to whose definition of love? The patriarchy's?
No, my mom's.
Your mother isn't a woman of color, is she?
No.
Then she sounds very confused.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
You know what, Lewis? Why don't we move on to something a little less problematic? You had written in your assessment you were having thoughts of suicide.
Yeah, I've thought about hanging myself.
With rope? Oh my God.
Yeah, I know it's an awful thought to have, and I'm pretty scared.
I can't believe you'd be so insensitive.
Insensitive?
Hello? Lynchings in the South? You're a white man appropriating black pain.
If I hang myself, it's a lynching?
Metaphorically, America is moving forward, and it doesn't need white men anymore. And this is your way of taking back your lost status.
By killing myself?
I see this all the time. Straight white men think they can stop the train of progress by jumping in front of it. It's disgusting.
Can we stop talking about suicide, please?
Oh, this is all about you, isn't it?
This is my therapy session that I'm paying for. So yeah.
Racist.
What's racist?
You are so focused on your own narrow view. What about the half black, half Latino, trans, lesbian, single mother working 2 minimum wage jobs just to make ends meet? She can't afford therapy.
So because she can't afford a therapist, I shouldn't have one?
No, go to therapy, but talk about her.
Why would I talk about her?
Because she has problems.
Okay. So if she can tackle her problems, I can tackle mine.
No, you fucking idiot. She will never overcome because you are keeping her down.
I don't even know who the you're talking about.
You know what? I gotta be totally honest with you, Lewis. You've got a lot of work to do, and it's gonna take several sessions for me to break through to a white supremacist.
I'm not a white supremacist.
Yes, you are. Oh, you have feelings of shame and sadness, and you think that they're all about you, but they're not. What those feelings are really about is how you've enslaved women, people of color, and the LGBTQ community in a toxic system of white patriarchal supremacy. And until you admit that, you'll never change.
I've never wanted to kill myself more than I do right now.
That is so offensive.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our...
All right, folks, the polls are open. Is the social justice warrior therapist parody or now reality? Or not quite? And yeah, somebody actually brought up that it reminded them of the psychologist who wanted to shoot white people in the head. And that's actually the first time I ever shared that video. Well, just because it's getting closer to not being a parody. But anyway, all right, let's take a look at the poll. 19 votes in out of 26 live viewers. This is, it's neck and neck going is now reality versus close but not quite. With only 5% for still just a parody. Oh, close but not quite. Pulled ahead. 20 votes in out of 25 viewers. Cast your votes, folks. Democracy in action. 2 sheeps and a wolf determining if something is still a parody. Yeah. My daughter, Kitty Lover, says, make sure to vote, guys. Only then can you make change. Oh, got neck and neck again. 23 out of 27 viewers. Is now reality, close but not quite, still just a parody. Well, we're gaining more viewers who obviously haven't had a chance to watch this one, so I'm going to close the poll. Now reality pulled ahead, 46%. Close but not quite, 42%. Still just a parody, 12%. So let's move on. All right. Thanks for everybody tuning in today to V Radio. I hope you like my impromptu stream. I wanted to do one about parodies for a while, so. All right. Here's one that I actually used on my channel. All right, so now we got to decide if this parody is real, not quite real, or definitely still just a parody.
Dr. Pollen, I'm your 2 o'clock.
Oh, hey, Mandy. Have a seat. What can I do for you?
It's terrible. I can't even. I have literally lost my ability to even.
Whoa, let's calm down. What was it? Some sort of tragic loss? Death in the family? No one misgendered you, did they?
No, it's even worse. Elon Musk wants to buy our company.
All right, another one. All right, just tell me, what is it about Elon buying Twitter that actually bothers you? And remember, this is a safe space. There's no judgment here.
If he buys our free speech platform, people will be able to have free speech on our platform.
Well, that's just stupid. All right, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's go a little bit deeper. What exactly bothers you about somebody having free speech on our free speech platform?
If we don't have the unilateral power to ban ideas we don't like, we'd actually have to discuss and defend our ideas based on their own merit.
Let's try something else. I'm going to hold up some shapes, and I want you to tell me exactly what you see.
Nazis, Nazis, Nazis. That one kind of looks like a lip. Nazis, Nazis, Adolf Hitler, Nazis. Oh, I know that one. It's the Hindu symbol for peace. Namaste. Nazis, Nazis, Donald Trump. No, wait, it's still Nazis.
Fascinating. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer honestly. Is Elon in the room with us right now?
Yes, I see him at work. I see him at Whole Foods. I see him when I get into my Tesla. He's everywhere.
All right, whatever. Next.
Hey, Doc. Why do you have these pictures of my mom?
So that one was actually a bit more
award-winning anchor Lisa
recent, actually. But in any case, I'll just put that back up there for anybody who wants to see it. This one, I uploaded this to my channel, but it's actually a Babylon Bee parody. So the polls are open, folks. Let's vote on whether or not you think this parody is now reality, or whether or not maybe it's close, etc. So, wow, this one's not even close. Now reality, 75%, close but not quite, and then still just a parody. But we got 17 votes out of 25 live viewers. So, in any case, I actually used this one to kind of prank you guys because I put it up as breaking leaked footage from inside Twitter offices. This was back when they first announced that he was going to buy it. So, well, parody's breaking up just a little bit. All right, we're at 20 votes out of 27. Was that now reality, close but not quite, or still just a parody? All right, I'm going to close the poll at 21 votes. It is now reality, 76%. Aaron Zilmer, I was on Parler. I haven't been able to log back into my Parler since that time that it was taken down. So I don't know. But yeah, I was. There should still theoretically be an account there. I don't know what happened. When I tried to log back on after that time that they took Parler down, I wasn't able to do it again. So anyway, moving right along to the next parody. For those of you who are just joining us, what we're doing is we are watching a parody video for entertainment, but at the end of it, we're going to vote on whether or not that parody is now too close to reality. Some of these won't always fit perfectly. So like for this example, this next one I'm going to use is set in the future. The video was made back in 2015, but I still think this one's extremely entertaining. So we're going to watch this one next.
Hi there, you're very attractive. I mean, I'm not objectifying you in any way.
Not that hello is necessarily your traditional greeting. I'm not racist.
I'm not sexist. I promise you I'm not sexist.
I'm not at all racist.
I'm not sexist.
Is that a straight white male?
No, it can't be. We killed them all.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry, I just arrived from that time machine over there. I came from 2015. I was hoping you guys had the time on you, or if you just had some food.
It's okay. We don't eat food anymore.
It's very offensive.
Yeah, we just have solid love.
It's 100% gluten-free, halal, kosher, dairy-free, biodynamic, solar-powered, carbon neutral, and to all the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, nah, look, I'm going to pass on that. Why are you both wearing black?
It's not black. It's African-American.
Okay, so what are your names then?
We don't have names anymore.
They cause discrimination.
We're just prescribed numbers at birth.
And many people were offended if their number was too high or was bad luck according to their religion.
Yeah, so we all became number one.
It's wonderful.
No, that sounds horrible, actually.
She's not used to men disagreeing with her.
Why? What is she going to do, arrest me?
Well, actually, yes, there's a 20-year jail sentence for disagreeing with a woman, and 30 years if she's a privileged white woman with a blog.
And for both of you, we no longer use the terms he or she. We're all equal.
I beg your forgiveness. Oh, great, number one, I'm not sexist. I'm not sexist. I'm not sexist. I'm not sexist. I'm not.
So no one has free speech anymore either?
Oh my Buddha, Allah, Vishnu, Tumblr, Google, God no. Of course we have free speech.
We just have to thank the traditional owners of the oxygen every 5 minutes. Which reminds me, it's 3:05. Oh, great dinosaurs. We send our thanks for this precious air we so selfishly breathe.
Okay. What? So your god is a dinosaur?
No, we were all gods.
Well, legally, Mark Zuckerberg made himself our god.
Do kids even go to school?
Of course they do.
But only for 3 days of the year. All other days are religious holidays.
And on those 3 days, we are told how beautiful we are.
Yeah. Oh, but if by the age of 16 you're still a straight white male, we will kill you. Brutally.
What sort of perverse leader made all these laws?
We have no leader.
We simply have an equality guidance counselor.
They are the true number one. But were originally born Mohammed Smith, Chang Steinberg, Patel, Volkov, Umbele.
They were also 4 years old.
Your leader is 4 years old?
Yes. And if you have a problem with that, you are an ageist.
And to protect this utopia we live in, ageism results in the death penalty.
Rid yourself of the evils of the past and join us.
Join us.
Become number one with us all.
Join us. I'm not
Join
sexist.
us. Join us. Join us.
I'm not sexist.
By the way, what's the date?
It's the 18th of January. 2016.
All right, folks. Like I said, that one would be a little harder just because it isn't obviously true. But man, there's a lot of truth in that video still. So, but yeah, it's like, is that a straight white male? That's impossible. We killed them all. And if you're still a straight white male, we will kill you. No. And then them just like beggingly saying to each other, I am not sexist. I'm not sexist. Oh my goodness. So the poll is open. Again, this one doesn't fit the bill perfectly, but I'll still read it off. Yep, still just a parody. There were some people, though, who said that there's some reality to it. 12%. So, all right. We're going to move on. Okay. Let's see what's next. One of the reasons I didn't monetize this one is that obviously I'm using a bunch of other people's content. So if you guys would like to support this episode and you enjoy this format, please don't hesitate to send me a super chat or send me some PayPal or become a patron. Thanks for your time. Alrighty, moving on. You're listening to V Radio. Okay, so I wanted to like play this next because I don't know if you guys are all as familiar with what the state of comic books is as I am, but this scene from the old Jay and Silent Bob film, Chasing Amy, is, in my opinion, not a parody anymore. But I'll let you guys decide for yourself in the poll.
For years in this industry, whenever an African-American character, hero or villain, was introduced, usually by white artists and writers, they got slapped with racist names that singled them out as Negroes. Now, my book, White Hating Coon, don't have none of that bullshit. The hero's name is Maliqua, and he's a descendant from the black tribe that established the first society on the planet, while all you European motherfuckers were still hiding in caves and shit, all terrified of the sun. He's a strong role model that a young black reader can look up to. Because I'm here to tell you, the chickens is coming home to roost, y'all. The black man's no longer going to play the minstrel in the medium of comics and sci-fi fantasy. We keeping it real. And we gonna get respect by any means necessary.
Come on, that's a bunch of horse shit. Endo Calrissian was a black guy, you know. He got to fly the Millennium Falcon. What's the matter with you?
Who said that?
I did. Lando Calrissian is a positive role model in the realm of science fiction fantasy.
Fuck Lando Calrissian, Uncle Tom, nigga. Always some white boy gotta invoke the Holy Trilogy. Bust this. Those movies are about how the white man keeps the brother man down, even in a galaxy far, far away. Check this shit. You got cracker farm boy Luke Skywalker, Nazi poster boy, blonde hair, blue eyes. And then you got Darth Vader, the blackest brother in the galaxy, Nubian god.
What's a Nubian?
Shut the fuck up. Now, Vader, he's a spiritual brother, you know, down with the Force and all that good shit. Then there's Cracker, Skywalker. Gets his hands on a lightsaber, and the boy decides he's gonna run the fucking universe. Gets a whole clan of whites together. And they gonna bust up Vader's hood, the Death Star. Now what the fuck do you call that?
Intergalactic Civil War?
Gentrification. They gonna drive out the black element to make the galaxy, quote unquote, safe for white folks. And Jedi's the most insulting installment, because Vader's beautiful black visage is sullied when he pulls off his mask to reveal a feeble, crusty old white man. They trying to tell us that deep inside, we all wants to be white.
Well, isn't that true?
Black mans are killing you white folks that lay my motherfucking eyes on! What's a Nubian? Bitch, you almost made me laugh.
Man, what about you? You didn't tell me you were going to scream black rage. I nearly pissed myself.
So that's from
For years.
Chasing Amy, which was a film that came back out. It actually came out in 1997. And so, like, still in the 90s, people thought that this was just silly. I don't know if you guys have kept up on comic books at all. Unfortunately, I can't pull up images easily on here, but like, all you got to do is look at a couple of frames of Tony Stark being told he needs to establish his white privilege, or watch Just Some Guy, because there are a lot of comic books like this now that, you know, just like basically just portray what this guy is saying. So I'm going to take a look at the poll. 71% said now reality, 18% close but not quite, and then still just a parody is at 12%. So yeah, the comic book industry is totally wrecked, bro. Now, like, everybody's just turning to manga because they're just so sick of, as Critical Drinker would put it, the message. I'm sure that'll make Kitty Lover laugh because she quotes that to me all the time. So had to change my vote up to the very ending. Well, yeah, and I wouldn't put the last little gag where he shoots somebody in there, but you get my point. The rest of it, though, was totally, like, unfortunately, something I could totally see happen during a comic book convention. So Kitty Liver says the gay Superman passionately kissing a pink-haired gay boy is a good example. Yep, and that's already been canceled. That's the thing, is that they keep trying to do this stuff, and it's just not popular. You know, what bothers me, and I'm going to do a video about this eventually, was that during the 80s, they kind of understood what to do, and like the 90s even, you know, like, just put diverse characters who are cool into movies. Like, I remember when Independence Day was this huge film. Like, it grossed enormous amounts of money. At one point, it brought in more money than Star Wars. And the main character was Will Smith, and everybody loved that character. Nobody complained about that at all. And that's really what catapulted his career. He was, you know, I just, that's how you should do it. And don't, like, smear into everybody's faces that the character's black. Make it really subtle. And it normalized the idea that, you know, black people could be cool. You know, that's the idea, you know, but they don't want to do that. They want to get up in everybody's faces and feel satisfied that they made someone else feel bad while they made themselves feel good and self-righteous. So in any case, that poll was, I figured, was going to be pretty easy. 72%. Again, that was from Chasing Amy. A really funny film. If you haven't watched all the Jay and Silent Bob movies, they're all funny in their own way. All right, moving right along to the next parody. Thanks for joining me today for V Radio. Okay, gonna move on to the next one. All right. So this one was made way back in 2014, which is why this is extremely ironic to me. So it's one of the few that I'm gonna get into here. So check this one out from the Onion News Network. Tell me if you think this is parody or not, or if it's become reality in some way.
John Kerry poses as a masseuse to get a few minutes with Putin. Parents reminisce to their children about the dating algorithm that brought them together. And a lowly mortal opens a portal to hell. Personally dictated into the ear of this announcer by the Lord Jesus Christ himself, this is the Onion Week in Review. Russian President Vladimir Putin told reporters in a press conference Wednesday that he was not ruling out a military response to continued international diplomacy, saying that in the face of sanctions and phone calls with foreign dignitaries, he reserved the right to deploy troops and incite violent confrontations throughout Eastern Europe. A defiant Putin told Western leaders that he would not back down from their obvious efforts to salvage international relations. Americans across the nation made their voices heard this week as they demanded more mind-blowing guitar solos. Calling for the solos to be, quote, face-meltingly cool and go on for well over 10 minutes, Americans stressed that all guitar solos from now on should be equally as kick-ass as those in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher and AC/DC's Thunderstruck, or even better.
It should start out really slow, you know, and then get faster and faster until they're all the way up at the top of the guitar neck and bending the notes like crazy. So it's like, and then there's all this awesome pyrotechnic stuff going off in the background. They should all be like that.
A study released by Princeton University Tuesday found that slapping everyone in a grocery store and exposing yourself in the produce section is still a behavior frowned upon by society. Researchers behind the report noted all of the experiment's numerous trials resulted in similarly negative responses, regardless of whether test subjects rubbed cold cuts on their naked bodies, charged at customers like a rhino while wearing a banana taped to their foreheads, or loudly sang several verses of Yankee Doodle directly at a cashier. And in this week's local news, a report noted that on its surface, Glenbrook, Ohio is a small town like any other, a peaceful all-American town. And yet, the report's authors added, if you only look closer, what you find may surprise you. In other news, Chinese factory workers fear they may never be replaced with machines. The mischievous Koch brothers trick a beautiful woman into thinking there's only one of them, and a man is just having one of those decades where he doesn't feel like doing anything. This concludes part 538,000 in a 2 million part series cataloging the course of human existence. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
So I was mostly playing that one just for the Putin part, but isn't it freaking hilarious? You know, that was, in my opinion, almost right on the nose, and that was made back in 2014. You know, so the poll is already open. Let's take a look at it. Now reality at 45% with just a parody coming in at 36. This one's pretty contentious, folks. Narrowing down a little bit. We got 12 votes out of 23. So cast your votes, guys. Yeah, no, it does get fake eventually, Junebug. I was mostly worried about that. But yeah, the first part with Putin was the one I mainly got that one for. American Shirts are first.com says, hey, V Radio, long time no speak to. Great streams as always. Thanks, man. Yep, so, all right. Now reality pulls ahead at 50% out of 14 votes. Please cast your votes, guys. That's basically where the troubles we are having now began with Russia. Yep, I would agree. All right, looks like voting has calmed down. Oh, no, 2 more votes. Wow, good job. So to all 23 viewers, please vote if you feel that this parody is, like, I'm more worried about the beginning, like I said with Putin, but is now reality, close but not quite, or just a parody? $19 votes. All right. So it looks like that one pulled ahead to now reality. Moving right along. I hope you guys are enjoying this stream. I really just kind of came up with the idea and then just said, hey, I'm going live like right now. So, all right, let's move on. Or as Strategic would say, let's keep going. All right. Okay, I remember this one. We used to share this all the time. So you guys are going to find this one pretty ironic, I think. Make sure it's turned up all the way. Now, one part about this is because it was done in the past, it obviously is going to talk about candidates that are not currently running, so I wouldn't worry about that. But again, let's look back. This one was made way back in 2008. So, which is funny because that was around the time that my friend Clint Curtis literally testified before Congress to say, yes, you know, this is a problem. But I don't want to talk too much about that because the last time I did, I got banned for a week. So here we go.
Moving on. If you planned on following the presidential election in November, you might want to plug your ears. A big election spoiler is coming up. A minor software glitch at the Diebold Corporation today caused thousands of electronic voting machines to accidentally release the results of the 2008 presidential election months ahead of schedule. According to the group of military and corporate leaders that has chosen every American president since Eisenhower, Diebold's mistake marks the first time the nation's leader has been revealed prematurely.
I don't even know if I can enjoy the sham election now that I know who's going to win.
If you can't trust your shadowy overlords to keep a secret,
What is the purpose, really, of voting in the puppet democracy?
I'm fine with it. I mean, he was going to get my meaningless vote anyway.
Despite the leak, all of the presidential candidates have so far said they'll continue their campaigns.
Hillary Clinton isn't about to give up just because she lost the election. She'll give up when she's supposed to on election day. And she'll act surprised.
Joining us now to talk about the leaked results is Diebold PR spokesman Ernie Kenilworth. Mr. Kenilworth, this was quite a mistake.
And we at Diebold would like to formally apologize to all of our shadowy puppet masters. This will not happen again. Please have mercy on us.
Do you think that people will still even vote in this election?
We certainly hope they will. This country is based on the fantasy that the government is the voice of the people. Going through the motions of voting and keeping the kingmakers dealing secret is central to our culture.
Why do we need electronic voting machines in the first place? They're just not as reliable as our cloaked masters, no matter how good the software gets.
Well, I understand people's concerns, but from now on, we at Diebold will see to it that we properly safeguard the illusion of democracy for all Americans.
Well, let's hope so. So for those of us who will watch, what can we expect on election night?
Oh, the same great show that you have always seen. We will be pretending to count votes, and we will be running an ongoing total throughout the night.
But wouldn't it be possible for them to just choose a different president so that we'll still have that same great surprise?
No, I don't think so. However, that does not rule out the possibility for a staged assassination after the president has been placed in office.
Oh, I take it that's a hint.
You won't get anything else out of me today, Gina. I've already said too much.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us, Mr. Kenilworth. After the break, researchers say they have found a cure for awakeness.
We used to pass that one around all the time back in 2008. So that's a dangerous one, so I can't comment on it too much because I've gotten in trouble for that before. But the funny thing is I wasn't even talking about what everybody else does on this. I was talking about other things. But regardless, you guys can check out my content about that topic on my BitChute or Rumble or Odyssey because it was taken off of here. So, but in the meantime, let's have a look at this poll. Now Reality pulls ahead at 67% with 18 votes out of 24 viewers, with Close But Not Quite at 17, still just Parody at 16. Let's give you just a little bit longer. We got 20 votes are now in. Come on, folks, 3 more votes. Or no, I guess 2. Democracy in action, guys. All right, I'll stop it there. 70% have said that this is now reality. For some of us, it already was. Ron Paul Revolution. Yep, I was part of that initially. Cypher. I was. Ron Paul is actually one of the first politicians I showed any interest in. He's kind of like one of the things that started this. And it was around that time that V for Vendetta came out. So there we go. All right, moving on to the next parody. If you guys like this format, we'll do this again sometime. So just let me know. All right. This is a good one. All right. Turn this all the way up. Start it over. And here we go. Oh, let me make sure it's, yep. Let's take myself out.
This is the Onion News Network, keeping you safe from the lies.
We begin tonight with an update on a story we've been following all week. Hannah Stevenson, the 16-year-old girl from Detroit, accused of stabbing a classmate to death with a screwdriver last month. At her arraignment this afternoon, Hannah received the harshest possible sentencing from the judge. She will be tried as a Black adult.
Due to the extreme and violent nature of this crime, this court finds it fitting to try the defendant as an African American. Henceforth, you will be referred to for the jury by the name Wandell Brown.
Once the trial begins next week, all courtroom images of Hannah will depict her as a 300-pound muscular black man, and jury members will be instructed to imagine her as such.
We're going to do our best to make sure that Hannah is treated with the sympathy and sensitivity that she, as a photogenic white girl, deserves.
This is America. Nobody deserves to be treated as a black man.
Now that Hannah has been ruled black, the court has instructed local media to assume she's guilty, and the police have retroactively charged her with assaulting her arresting officer. Hannah's 24 character witnesses have been replaced by a single crack addict who goes by the name of Skaggs. Hannah's parents are, of course, planning to appeal the ruling, saying that their daughter should at most be tried as a black celebrity or a stunningly beautiful Filipino lady. Every time I hear a story like that, it makes me so glad I'm exempt from the legal system.
When you follow Fact Zone's Brooke Alvarez, you're following the news anchor with more stalkers than any other major network on-screen personality. If you're watching Brooke Alvarez, you're not alone. Fact Zone on the Onion News Network.
I was just talking to you guys thinking I was enabled, but I wasn't. Sorry about that. So I ended the poll because you guys were done. I was going to say that, you know, what I found interesting about that one was that there are people that if they could have had Kyle Rittenhouse tried as a black male, that's what they would have done, which is honestly kind of metaphorically what they were doing anyway, because they all said, well, if he was black, you know, and that would have been the closest thing to making that reality. So yes, still a parody, but reflective of a lot of interesting things, you know. And if anything, now they want all black criminals to be tried as white people. Essentially, that's how they look at it. But again, it's all kind of metaphorical. Sorry about not having myself enabled, because I take myself off because my son uses a fan at night, so I didn't want that to be bugging you guys while you were trying to watch the videos. So we're gonna move on to the next parody, folks. Oh, let me go ahead and close that. There we go. Okay. Next parody. All right. So here's another old one, way back from 2015, and it's called Putin's Russia. Let's have a look. And once again, is this parody or is it now reality?
To reignite that flame of anti-Russian sentiment that has been lying dormant inside us for far too long now, we now present The Onion Explains Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin is widely known to use fear and intimidation to suppress dissenting voices within his country. To maintain this strict level of order, Putin ruthlessly mines his adversaries' personal lives for their most embarrassing secrets and spreads rumors about their weight and their hygiene that are so humiliating that most people are far too afraid to ever cross Russia's leader. By employing the Kremlin's vast surveillance systems, Putin arms himself with extensive dirt on whichever activists and journalists stand in opposition to him, just like he did with billionaire Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who rallied against the Russian president in the early 2000s and found himself at the center of a Putin-orchestrated smear campaign about how he wet his pants during gym class in 4th grade. After years of military incursions that culminated with Russia's unprovoked seizure of Crimea in 2014, world leaders finally stood up, spoke together in one voice, and boldly declared that Ukraine and the rest of Eastern Europe were pretty much on their own on this one, making it absolutely clear to Putin that they'll more or less stay off to the sidelines for this whole thing. Sources close to Vladimir Putin have confirmed that every one of the Russian leader's brazen, defiant actions have been motivated by a single, unyielding, and all-consuming desire that burns deep within him: to avenge Evgeny Plushenko's loss to American Evan Lysacek in the men's figure skating competition at the 2010 Winter Olympics. Members of Putin's inner circle say that the president constantly reminds his cabinet that Plushenko should have been leading by at least 4 points after the short program, that Lysacek went with uninspired and timid musical choices, and that Plushenko, even in his 30s, was still able to wow the audience with the flair of a much younger skater, with Putin typically pounding his fists on the table and vowing that the judge's decision must be reversed.
В чем заключается наше предложение? Наша позиция не в том, чтобы любой ценой там Асада и его режим оставлять у власти, а в том, чтобы сначала люди договорились между собой о том, как они будут жить дальше, как будет обеспечено. Я 4 года не был главой государства. Тем не менее, я никак не мог влиять. Я хочу, чтобы вы все услышали. Я не влиял на деятельность правоохранительных судебных органов. Вообще никак.
To help you understand a communist nation that is somehow even more grotesquely capitalistic than our own, we now present The Onion Explains, China.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually a different video that we're going to be going over here in a moment. But all right, polls are open. So especially the part where it just says, it seems like everybody else has decided, yep, Ukraine, you're now on your own. And remember, guys, this was way long ago. So super chat from Sawcon. So far, I'm rocking a perfect score. I shall DM you my PayPal at the end of the stream. Thank you. So in any case, thanks, guys, for checking this out. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the poll, see what you guys are saying. 58% says now reality. 33% says close but not quite. Mind you, only 12 people have voted. So if you haven't voted, take your opportunity to vote now. Was this parody of Vladimir Putin close to reality, or is it still really just a parody? All right. Looks like the election is stopped. Like more people are not voting. So now reality at 58%. So we'll move on to the China one since it looks like it already popped up. So this is the understanding China one. So again, do you think this is parody or reality?
To help you understand a communist nation that is somehow even more grotesquely capitalistic than our own, we now present The Onion Explains, China. With its GDP growing at double-digit rates for most of the past 30 years, China has emerged as a global economic titan, boasting a surging industrial sector, vast new public works projects, and a rapidly expanding consumer base, nearly all of which can be attributed to the lucrative residual checks the country continues to receive for the invention of fireworks during the Tang Dynasty. While China earns a payment of only 5 cents per bottle rocket and aerial repeater, the sheer number sold since their invention in the 7th century has provided a steady stream of royalty checks that total roughly $83 trillion every month. In fact, the combined profits from China's next largest industries are dwarfed by fireworks residual payments and firecracker licensing fees, which now make up 99.1% of China's economy. While China is all but guaranteed to become the world's largest economy and the dominant global political power in the coming years, you really shouldn't get too worked up about it, because sometimes in life, other people beat you. And even if that makes you sad, the only thing you can do is accept it and move on. These things happen. And part of growing up is realizing that there's no shame in being number two. Besides, just because someone else may have done a little better than you doesn't mean you can't still do a great job too. Being the runner-up doesn't mean you're bad at all. So cheer up. And remember that not everything's going to go your way every time, and that's okay. Sound good? Great. Now go get them. While China's growth has been strong and steady for a generation, the country's future expansion will almost certainly be limited by the fact that there is a finite amount of space on the planet Earth, and that it will likely be centuries before China develops the means to travel to other habitable planets and expand its sphere of influence beyond our solar system. Unless China's space agency invents the interstellar propulsion technology necessary to expand the nation's reach to planets in distant star clusters, then the end is in sight for China's boom times. For China, the party is almost over, likely leaving the nation with economic, military, and cultural dominance over just a single celestial body, and leaving the vast majority of the galaxy, and indeed the universe, sadly and humiliatingly out of reach for the once unstoppable economic juggernaut.
I know I shouldn't, but these muffins are delicious.
And we'll share our
Okay. I guess those muffins are delicious. All right, let's take a look at the poll. According to this poll, this one is still just a parody to most people, but this one was really contentious. 30% to 30% to 40%. It's interesting, though, how much of that stuff, again, the video is almost boring because it's just true. A lot of the stuff that they said in that video is just true now. But at the time, maybe it would have sounded ridiculous, I guess. So, all right. Oh, well, now reality pulled ahead there at the end, 58%. So, or no, oh no, I'm looking at it wrong. 36%. No, but just tied again. So there we go. I actually probably should have left that poll open a little longer, but in any case, you're watching V Radio. Let's move on to the next one. Now, some of these other ones, guys, I promise are extremely funny. So let me see. But they're funny in this way that you're going, oh my God, this is so true. We'll go with the last Russian one.
Vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan begins attacking Mitt Romney's record as Massachusetts governor. A man thanks God he's not sexually attracted to children, and Popeye's home is burglarized. Week in and week out, you come back like a housebroken Pomeranian, loyal to the bitter end. Good boy. This is the Onion Week in Review. Georgia's Cobb County Evangelical Hospital held its 5th annual Walk to Cure Gayness today, reportedly drawing thousands of participants to raise funds that would cure sufferers of their homosexuality and make gayness a thing of the past. Hospital administrators told reporters that funding from the walk would go into providing new state-of-the-art gayness treatment equipment, along with remodeling the hospital's physical therapy center, which has spent nearly 14 years reteaching gay men how to walk properly.
Oh God, I was a goner. But as you can see, I'm now happily married to a woman. And as of next month, I will have been in full remission for 2 whole years. I'm just so very, very happy. Everything's really good in my life.
Researchers at the University of Washington report that they have successfully trained 7-year-old chimpanzee Makoko to do all of the tasks necessary to conduct a 3-year study on primates. According to the scientists, Makoko has efficiently learned to turn in thorough analyses of behavior in chimpanzees, fill out all of the necessary paperwork to ensure compliance with the Animal Welfare Act, and even apply for supplemental grant funding from the National Institutes of Health.
The possible applications for this research are truly very exciting. Makoko's already given us a paper we can perhaps publish in one of the major journals, And who knows, maybe next we can teach chimpanzees to dress us every morning, drive us to work, maybe even do our income taxes.
Sources within your office reported today that the guy on the third floor with 2 computer screens on his desk is not fucking around. Coworkers said that the man, currently working with at least 3 programs open on each screen, was absolutely tearing it up, with sources adding that watching the man run a group video chat while dragging 2 separate Google documents to his second screen was like something out of fucking Minority Report or something.
Jesus, he's just dragging things from one screen to the other like it's nothing. He's going balls to the wall over there. Christ, man, I don't think he's blinked in 3 minutes.
And in Russia, high-level sources within the Kremlin report that Russian President Vladimir Putin has learned of an assassination plot against former Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, masterminded by former KGB director Vladimir Putin. Putin was reportedly heard raving that he knew Putin's fingerprints were all over the plan to kill Putin and signed an executive order authorizing Putin to assassinate Putin before Putin could give Putin the go-ahead to have Putin assassinate Putin. In other news, the nation's economists are quietly evacuating their families. After Work Drinks enters its 3rd excruciating minute, and the nation's women aren't as crazy about Brian Gosling. You may now move on to whatever the hell else it is you do during the other 10,077 minutes of your week. Frankly, we couldn't care less. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
To reignite that flame of anti-Russian sentiment that has been lying dormant.
Sorry about that. So that one was there was a lot more to that one than I thought. I should have vetted that one just a little better, but the poll is open, guys. So let's see what you guys said. Or did I open it? I thought I opened it. I took that multiple screen skip personally. Yeah, I know what you mean. This thing is freezing up. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. Okay, it was up there. It just like looked weird. Okay, so only 10 votes. Close but not quite. Was Putin trying to assassinate himself at different stages of his life. Still just parody is pulling in. 11 votes in out so far out of 16. You guys are dropping off. Maybe I made too many of these. Might have to make this shorter next time, but like I saved some of the funniest videos for last, so. All right. Moving right along. Before any of you else of you take off on me. Okay. Thanks again for tuning in today to V Radio. All right, so we go with this one. This one's awesome. This one's a Babylon Bee. Here we go.
Fellas, it's time we made a comeback. Racism is hot. We practically invented it. So here's the plan. First, we'll start pushing for a segregated drinking fountain.
Actually, this might sound weird, but that's not racist anymore.
Come again now?
Segregation isn't racist. Can you believe that? But there are all kinds of new ways to be racist.
I can't wait. My curiosity. Well, okay, Glenn, let's hear it then.
Next time you see an African American, you tell them this. You don't see color at all.
That sounds not racist.
It's racist now. Can you believe that? We can be racist and congenial all at the same time.
I'm not so sure.
Wait, I got more. If you see a person of Japanese descent, you mispronounce his name.
So you're saying the next time I talk to Takahashi down the street,
skip over that H, make it silent, bing, bang, boom, racism.
This ain't a racism. What happened to good old-fashioned hating people? The hating was the best part.
It's exhausting. Now, we just say all lives matter and we're racist.
But all lives don't matter.
I know that. You know that. But if we want to compete in this new racist landscape, we got to get with the times.
What about thinking the most qualified person for a job is a person who should be hired?
Big time racism.
What if I ask a black person to be quiet? Racism. Even though I work at the library?
Still racism.
Okay, what if I ask someone who is not white where they originally came from?
We got ourselves a regular David Duke over here. What about wearing a Hawaiian shirt?
Hey, his.
Voicing a minority character on a hit animated TV show?
Dick Heil.
Fall in love with an African-American woman? Have a long, fruitful marriage?
And you're still white in that scenario?
Yes, sir, just like Bill Burr. Racist!
These ideas are A-okay.
That's racist too.
What?
Doing this with your hand. If you do this, you're racist.
A-okay! A-okay! A-okay!
And Alpha! You are diluting my racism, and I don't like it. Racism is hatred. It's looking down on someone as subhuman simply on account of the color of their skin. You water it down like that, it becomes nothing. I mean, if everything is racist, nothing is.
Have you guys heard about critical race theory?
Get
Get this, we don't have to do anything to be racist. CRT says we're racist simply because we're white. That's all it takes. CRT!
There's no racism, it's pure laziness, plain and simple, and I reject it. This here is for the black students, and this here is for the white students. Why? Because I'm racist. Come at me.
It's very forward thinking. I love this.
Come on. Damn it.
All right, let's have a look at our poll, guys. This one was pretty heavy on now reality. Before it was actually like not even close, but not quite is still on there. 11% just a parody. Kind of surprised that anybody thought that was just a parody, because like a lot of what that guy was saying was true. So yes, there are more of these. That's like a regular cartoon. So okay, let me go ahead and we're gonna kind of power stream through the last few that I have. Try to make sure that I closed this. Ending the poll. All right. So moving on. But this one's more like a kind of a parody on the mainstream media itself.
And now, in a desperate attempt to fill 24 hours of programming, here's some bullshit that happened somewhere today. We've got some footage here of the bullshit, which began just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, when residents in this neighborhood were shocked to see this fairly common thing happening. An attractive witness described the event in breathless terms.
I went to my window and I was like, whoa, there's some bullshit happening.
That happened right over there. I'm an older man, so you can trust what I say.
Authorities in special uniforms rushed to the scene to stand around while our cameras filmed them. Our reporter Keith Collins joins us now live from the scene of the bullshit through the use of expensive technology. Good to be with you again, Keith. We have a colorful graphic here that shows instances of bullshit like this are on the rise. Is that right?
Yes, although why is unclear. Some say it's because of one fucking reason. Others say it's because of some other fucking reason. I talked to this random expert on the subject who told me this thing you're about to hear him say right after he points at a piece of paper.
I spent my entire life attending the nation's most prestigious schools to talk about bullshit like this. I'm really just happy to be on TV.
Now let's see if we can drag this out a little longer by showing emails written by some of our viewers. I once saw some stuff kind of like the shit you're talking about happen. I have nothing more to add. Another person says, I am angry that things like this happen. I get mad about every bullshit thing I see. So obviously a lot of opinions there to make this story seem somewhat meaningful.
Oh, absolutely, Glenn. This bullshit has some broader implications. Here's a list of tips on how to avoid bullshit happening to you.
And here's some footage of Congress.
Yes, I see that.
Well, thank you, Keith. Let us know if there are any updates on this bullshit story from there.
There's no way there will be.
Very good. We'll check back with you in an hour anyway.
I'm just some fucking guy.
When we return, we'll look at live footage of a car chase taken from a helicopter and free associate about what's going on.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to take a look at... Oops, hold on. Moving on. Now let's take a look at the poll. Now reality, 75%. Nobody thought that was parody. Good job, guys. 25% for close, but not quite. Here we go. Oh, there's 5 votes. Come on, guys. Get to it. Do your democracy. 6 votes. Hey, everybody. Commenced voting on that poll. 7 votes. Yeah, this one's not really close anymore, and then nobody thought that was parody. So, all right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Good joke, guys. Good joke. Okay, I'm gonna move on. There's only 2 left that were really good, so I'm gonna go with those. And then since you guys are, it's been a long stream, so I guess you're dropping off. It's not a problem. I'll survive. Move on. We'll go to this one first. Okay, guys, here's another one from The Onion. Once again, there will be a poll on whether or not you think this is now less parody and more reality.
This is the Onion News Network, a tomahawk of honesty in the skull of lies.
This is the Fact Zone. I'm Brooke Alvarez. Our top story tonight, Congress has passed a bill naming incomprehensible shouting the official language of the United States. After attracting the attention of several leaders in Washington last year, the initiative's political supporters argued for months that the nation should formally recognize incomprehensible shouting as the only truly American way to communicate.
I'm sick and tired of listening to people who say that Americans should not know what to know, and that's not what it is, what the policy is. A red-blooded American is what we have in this day and age.
But opponents say the legislation is unnecessary.
Everyone already knows that if you live in America, you have to know how to scream and holler while making absolutely no sense at all. This is just cheap political point scoring, and it's blatantly unfair to those who have come to our country from level-headed, polite societies.
The movement started in 2008 with a grassroots organization called Americans for Doing It Right because we gotta now, because who else right? Come on. Under the new law, public school classes will only be taught in incomprehensible shouting, and government agencies will no longer offer translators to non-shouting speakers. In addition, a new test will be added to the naturalization process, whereby potential immigrants must prove they have a working knowledge of incomprehensible shouting before they're granted citizenship.
I do export-import, and many of my clients, they are American. I have to learn to say things like, shut up, shut your goddamn mouth, let me finish, and, you son of a bitch, oh!
The legislation still faces a potential veto from President Obama, who favors naming dulcet tones as the national language.
Tomorrow night, the Onion News Network's special report from the Congo continues as we take you inside the bloody unrest in spectacular 3D.
I'm surrounded by 3 full dimensions of horrific bloodshed. So keep your 3D glasses on, because you never know when somebody could be raped at gunpoint right in front of you.
A full hour of in-depth coverage of the brutality like you've never seen it before. Spraying blood, machine gun fire, starving orphans coming right at you. Feel like you're on the killing fields with the Onion News Network's reporters. Feel the carnage. Feel more informed. Devastation in the Congo, a 3D special report tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central, only on the Onion News Network, the first name in 3D news.
Okay, then. Polls are open, guys. Almost done. 67% said close, not quite. Nobody thought that was reflective of reality, but people are shouting at each other and such. So we're gonna, well, there, that one popped up a little bit. 4 votes. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna play one more, and then we'll be done for the evening, everybody. So thanks for tuning in tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And we're going to move on. So this one also brings up, it's kind of a topic that was brought up earlier, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Although the candidates in question are definitely, outdated. This was made in like 2008. So here we go.
As the 2008 presidential race heats up, a new survey finds that again this year, the #1 issue among voters is bullshit. And joining us now to discuss the survey is the director of political polling at the Shuttleworth Research Center, Kip O'Leary. Mr. O'Leary, now we all know that bullshit is the deciding factor in most elections, and this poll says that this election will be no different.
That's right. When it comes to electing the leader of the free world,
Voters look to issues like a candidate's relationship with their ex-wife. Did they ever smoke? Where do they vacation? What's their exercise regimen? These are the kind of core bullshit issues that people really care
Now, in the
about.
past, whether the candidates are photogenic has been of key importance to voters who care about bullshit. Is that still the case today?
Oh, yeah, yes. And also, what a candidate wears at public appearances is very crucial to the bullshit-conscious voter.
You mean like where a candidate, for instance, wears a hard hat at a factory and talks about the local union, or let's say we see someone wearing blue jeans in a rural area?
Yes, that's the kind of local crowd pandering bullshit that people are very passionate about.
Now, according to your research, what will be the top bullshit issues for 2008?
There's so many out there. It's really too early to call. But thanks to the internet, there's literally thousands of websites full of bullshit on virtually every candidate. So voters can log on to discuss that bullshit with other people who share an interest in the same kinds of bullshit.
I agree with you on that. I've even noticed that there's an incredible amount of bullshit being discussed on our news blog as well. Mr. O'Leary, how can we in the news media do a better job of focusing on bullshit and really hounding candidates on these petty issues?
The fact is, you've been doing a great job as it is. If it wasn't for the media, there'd be a lot less bullshit in these elections.
Well, thanks so much. Before we go, do you care to make a prediction for November 2008? Who's the top bullshitter so far in this election?
Difficult to say. No one party has a monopoly on bullshit.
I've always been a big fan of Hillary. She's so full of bullshit.
I think not just talking bullshit, but actually living the bullshit. That's the earmark of a true candidate and of a winner.
Well, thanks so much. And we will be right back after this small break.
Okay. Anyway. All right, guys. So this is the last poll of the night, guys. So far, there's 5 votes out of 13 people watching. Was that parody reality now, or close but not quite, or just a parody? Honestly, I think that's been true all the time. So, is bullshit the most important issue to the American voter? Oh, thanks for sticking it out with me, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this, and get your votes in. Get 6 votes out of 13. I hope, to those of you who are listening to this later, feel free to share with me what you thought was, do your own close or not quite or whatever in the comments. Comments also help the algorithm. So if you've enjoyed tonight, please do me a favor and, either consider, supporting this stream financially or just try to share my work with other people. I am completely locked down by the algorithm. I do not get new subscribers unless they come from somewhere else. At this point, I only get new subscribers if, I go on someone's show, or something like that. So, that's basically about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys like this, maybe I'll do a shorter version again, and we'll come back to it. So, in any case, the poll with 7 votes out of 11 is 86% feel that bullshit is still is not a parody anymore. It's definitely, it's kind of always been true, like Sabrina said. Thanks for playing, guys. So, hope you enjoyed that. I've still got a lot of content on the fire. I've just been basically, for one thing, I've been having to do some other things to try to make money as best as I possibly can. Which isn't easy because of my situation, but I always appreciate your help. I'm looking for more patrons on Patreon. If you can support me on PayPal or Subscribestar, that's also appreciated. In addition to that, if there is a content that you would like me to make, if there's somebody you want me to try to bring on, if there's a topic you want me to cover, by all means, reach out and join our Discord community. Even if it's just to be absolutely sure you get stuff. I also now have the @everyone ability on Facebook. So if you want to join the Fans of V Radio Facebook, you can do that all at hy.page/v radio. Just written exactly as you see in the upper right-hand corner of my little picture. So thanks again for tuning in, folks. And I hope to see some of you soon.